Miriam McDonald. Welcome to the Degrassi Kid podcast. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm so happy to be here. We were just chatting before we started. I said, excuse my voice. I'm getting over a cold, but I've got my tea next to me, and I am so happy to be here chatting with you. The
Oh,
only
I'm
person, literally, the aside from Shane Kipple and Mike LaBelle, like you're the only podcast that I've done in such a very, very long time because you're you. You're the ultimate, you're like, you're the ultimate fan. You're the ultimate champion of this show.
Oh my God, Miriam, I'm already having a great time. This is so much fun. I'm excited. I know, I feel very appreciative that I know you're such like a reserved person. You're so private. And the fact that you were just like, hey, let's do that podcast. Oh, I was beaming. Immediately I was on it. I was like, here's everything I want to know about
Oh my
Degrassi.
gosh, that's incredible. And I love how you sent me like such a comprehensive list of questions. And I'm so appreciative that you want to talk about the past, but you're also interested in what I'm doing in the present moment and
Oh
with my
yeah.
event and everything. So that's amazing.
I'm excited about it. We are going to talk about some cute puppies very soon. But first, I always start my podcast with sharing with everybody, how do I meet these Degrassi stars? And this feels like a story out of a dream for me. First of all, I was at Linda and Steven's house. We were celebrating Christmas and Canada's Walk of Fame. And I'm standing there talking to some people from Degrassi's class. And all of a sudden, Miriam McDonald you're so tall, Miriam. So to me, it's just like, whoa, Miriam McDonald just walks up to me and I'm like, you're Miriam McDonald. And you're like, and you're Jocelyn. I've heard so much about you. Miriam, that felt like a moment straight out of a dream for me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love to hear that. That's amazing. And you were such a welcome face to see because I felt overwhelmed. Like, I don't know the next class. There was everybody
Mhm.
in that party was like from the newer generations. So I was like, oh my gosh. Like, even if people knew who I was, I'm like, I feel like a fish out of water right here. And I saw you and I was like, oh, finally, someone that I know. I thought there was a pretty good chance you were going to know who I was. So I was like, yes. We can hit it off. You were like introducing me to like the newer cast, the people that I didn't
I got
know.
you.
Oh,
I
perfect.
got you. I know. I'm pretty sure not only did I know who you were, I'm pretty sure the only thing I could keep saying was, you're Mary McDonald. You're Mary McDonald. I just was not prepared for it.
Yes. And I was like, yep, that's who
Yep,
I
that's me.
am.
And the reason that we're here today is actually because, much like Emma Nelson, you have a cause, you have a passion project. We're using our Degrassi grapevine to spread the news. You have created something called Presents for Paws, which, first of all, let me tell you, I'm so proud of you for doing this. The amount of effort and energy, that photo shoot you guys just did, like you are going gung ho for this, and it makes me really excited to see what the final result is. But first, for anyone who is like, what is Presents for Paws? Will you walk them through what it is?
Yeah, so Presents for Paws is a fundraiser event. This particular event is raising money for the Humane Society of Greater Niagara. We're hoping to maybe turn it into a series where we pick different rescue organizations that have a really upstanding reputation. And we do a wellness event with a yoga and Pilates class. This one's going to feature a beautiful catered lunch. We've got a gorgeous barn as our venue. And we're going to have rescue dogs on site. They're all going to be ready to meet their new homes. We're gonna have a meet and greet. We're gonna have this like super cute little kissing booth set up so you can take photos with the dogs and just have like an afternoon of dog lovers or wellness lovers all coming together to raise money for the rescue dogs.
Oh my gosh. And how did you even come up with this idea?
So I've always been like I've been an animal lover my entire life. Like I will cry at the sight of like, an injured bird on the side of the road. I'm just like my heart is animals and my heart are connected. And so I've really wanted to do something for a long time to, help these animals. And since I can't adopt all the animals in the world so much as I wish I could, I was like, okay, well, what's the next best thing? Well, maybe we can raise money for the organizations that have the infrastructure to help the animals. And then I was like, okay, well, I love yoga and Pilates. I love bringing people together to do like a fabulous class. And so I thought, okay, we're going to bring them together. And just before Christmas, actually, I had read this like devotional about not living the same year twice. And that spoke to me. And I was like, yeah, like I don't want to have the same 2026 as I had in 2025. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do things that I didn't do last year. So I was like, this is the moment. I'm going to sink or swim. I am going to give this my all. And here we are.
Oh my God. And I know you're running with it. I am obsessed with following the Presents for Pause page because you're just doing so well at coming up with all these like new ideas and putting it out there. So if you guys aren't following yet, it'll be linked in the description and the ability to get the tickets will be linked in the description. But Miriam, what has the response been like so far? What are you hearing from
Oh
people?
my gosh, it's been incredibly supportive. Like, I think, I mean, we certainly found like our audience because not everybody has that same exact passion.
Yeah.
But the people that do, like the dog loving community, is like wildly passionate. And the group of women, so at this point, we're like all females in our organization, and all of them have their own like experience with a rescue dog in some capacity, and our hearts are all kind of like connected on this like genuine love. One of the girls actually got her dog. He was hours from euthanasia. She got him from a kill shelter in Los Angeles. She was like, I've never had a big dog before. She lives in a small condo, but she's like, you know what? I can't see this dog die. So, they're all true champions for animals and animal welfare.
Oh
And
my
it does make
gosh.
me laugh. Like people are like, oh, that's such an Emma thing of you to do. And in my mind, I'm not even like drawing the correlation because I'm like, she was fictional to me, but
Yeah.
I do have to laugh because I'm like, yep, Emma would probably be doing this. Yep.
100%. If she was using social media these days, she would be coming up with
Yep.
fundraisers and using social media. So I think it's
100%.
very sweet that it's overlapped. Have you ever adopted a rescue dog?
Yes. So
Mhm.
Morgan, who has been featured on my page actually, came from the Humane Society of Greater Niagara, which is also where the passion for that organization came from. They were wonderful to deal with. They made the process so easy. Then my mom actually, so my beloved Hudson passed, and her dog Jack and Hudson were so bonded. And when Hudson passed, Jack was like lonely as can be. And so I took her to the Humane Society, and they had just gotten this influx of miniature poodles from like a cruelty case. It was just an awful situation, and it was love at first sight. So now her new dog is also a rescue dog from the Humane Society. So I definitely like hugely personal connection.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I do have a dog, but I have 7 cats, so I'm very much a cat
Ooh.
person. And all of them have come from a situation where either they were running out of time at the Humane Society, or maybe a loved one that we had passed away. And I think it just means so much more when they come from such a special place, and like they get to you get to be their forever home when maybe they didn't have much longer left. So I'm very,
Oh,
very with you on this passion project.
oh, I love that. I want to see your dog. You're gonna have to send me some pictures
I
of
will.
your
He's
dog.
a corgi and his name is Gunner, and his ears are this big and his legs are this big, and he's very, very, very
Oh.
cute. He's a
And your
very
and
sweet
your
boy.
cats too. I'm such like a dog person, but I mean cats are adorable and amazing and
Oh yeah, and they're all
so
so
sweet.
cute together. I have one of my cats. He's very, very big, but he's pretty much the same size as my dog, which is crazy because my dog is so tiny and
Wow.
he's just so large.
And 7 cats, that is like a collection.
Oh, it's a collection. It started because I used to not live at home, and then I moved back in during the pandemic. So my cats, my mom's cats merged,
Yeah.
and then it seems like anytime someone in life can't take care of their cat any longer, they're like, well, we'll just give it to them. And of course, we're not going to be
Yeah.
like, no. So now we have
Yeah.
7 cats and a dog.
Oh, I love it. So you're basically a cat rescue organization yourself, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Presents for the
I
other
love it.
kind of paws over here.
Yes. Yes. For claws. Presents for
Presents for
claws.
claws. Oh, that's cute. I like that. And overall, what is the main goal that you have with this Presents for Paws events? Once this first event is all over, what do you hope to have accomplished with it?
So when my group came together, we were like, if we can help one dog, then we have done our part. Like, I mean, of course, we'd love to help multiple dogs, but this is a first venture. Like, I am absolutely not ashamed to admit that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to, like, put my passion into every single step of the way. But I've never done a charity event before. I've never done an event period before. So
Mhm.
I'm just, if we help one dog and if we have one person who shows up, that is a win for me. So yeah, we just want to find homes for the dogs and also just raise awareness for like the wonderful dogs in those shelters.
Yeah.
They somehow, I mean, they get overlooked a lot because you'll go into the shelter and some of them seem aggressive and they're barking. It's just because they're so stressed, like they live behind bars. So when we took them out for the photo shoot, oh my goodness, like their personalities shone, and you would literally watch the fear melt away. The big Dennis, who was like the cutest, like 100-pound dog, was trembling when he first walked in, like so scared. And then he became so
Oh,
confident and so happy, and he was like a little model, and it was so rewarding.
that is so sweet. And are those some of the dogs that are going to be at the event?
So, I mean, we really hope they're going to be adopted before June, but if they don't find homes, then absolutely they will be. Like my heart has such a soft spot for all of them. I wish I could take every single one of them, but
Oh, that is so
do what we
sweet.
can.
I love that. It's going to be so much fun. Also, if you're someone who can't get out to the event, Miriam has done something incredible for us. She has signed autographs. We have the dolphin pants, we have the classic love photo, and of course, Sean and Emma. We had to do a Sean and Emma photo. These are available on my Patreon, patreon.com/Degrassi Kid, and $5 from every autograph will go towards Present for Paws and helping these puppies find their homes. But Miriam, what was it like for you to sit down and sign a photo of your face over and over and over again?
Well, I was so happy when you approached me with this idea and your generosity to donate to Presents for Paws. So thank you so much for that. And a huge
Of
thank you
course.
to anybody who may, take one of these autographs and your contribution. So that means the world to me. And it was pretty nostalgic because it used to be like sort of like a common thing. Like we'd be on set and then we'd go up to the tutoring room and lo and behold, there's like a stack of autographs and it's just like signing our way through it. And I haven't done that in ages. And just looking back, because you picked photos from different eras, kind of like the Dolphin Pants versus the Sean and Emma, those are like years apart. So it was really surreal. Yeah, there's this like now there's this disconnect between my present life and that world. So
Yeah.
anytime I'm brought back into it, it's just like this time warp.
Oh, I love that. Well, we're so appreciative and I'm so excited. I think they're going to go fast because I mean, you're Miriam McDonald. Like, this is going to fly off of the
You're the
Patreon.
sweetest thing in the world. And yes, again, the fact that this is a partial donation just means the world. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And I would be so happy if even this inspires someone to go to their own shelter through the presence of your event and this publicity that's going around it. Maybe someone will just go to their own shelter and be able to pick up a puppy and that would be incredible.
Absolutely, 100%. And there's cats and there's rabbits and there's birds and there's all kinds of like super sweet animals needing homes. So
Oh,
that'd be
okay, that
worth
makes
it.
me so happy. Well, while I have you, I'd love to ask about Degrassi, but first, is there anything else about Presents for Paws or Rescue Dogs that you'd like to say?
Hey, I mean, I just like to say I would love to see every single one of you there. Obviously, this isn't designed to be a meet and greet, but of course, I'm going to be there and over the moon grateful for everybody that shows up. So I would love to meet you, love to have your support. And this is an event like, yes, we have the yoga and Pilates, but if you've never done yoga or Pilates, please do not think that you're not welcome because we are absolutely designing this event for people that have never tried that form of movement and people who have been doing it for years. So this is an event for everybody. Everybody is welcome, and I can't wait to see everybody.
Oh, I love that you're doing entry level. That makes it so accessible. And yes, we'll look at it as more of a puppy meet and greet than a Miriam meet and greet.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just be there on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I love that. Well, I'd love, of course, we're here on the Degrassi Kid podcast. I would love to ask you about Degrassi. And I've heard a story from you that the very first time you watched Degrassi, or an early time you watched Degrassi, was in health class. Do you remember anything about that day or what episode you watched?
Yeah, I was in middle school, at probably grade 6, I think it would have been. And yeah, I mean, I remember when they would roll out the TV because this is back in the day when like, we would watch on like a literal big, I don't know, whatever those gym TVs were.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about the show. It felt kind of retro because of course we were, I don't know, 15, 20 years later. You know the years far better than I do. But anyways, we were watching this like retro show about these like controversial topics. And it definitely sat with me because when I did get the audition, I was like, oh my gosh, that's that show. It wasn't something that just kind of like glossed over. And yeah, when I got the audition, I remembered watching that episode in health class. I hadn't watched much of the show, so I really didn't like I wasn't trying to create a character that would like fit into Degrassi. I was
Mm.
just like being whoever, the 12 or 13-year-old version of myself, portraying what they had described Emma, which is like unique, one of a kind. I think they said she beats her own drummer or something like
Oh,
that. So I was
yes.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so she's just like she's a bit of a free spirit. Didn't really know much about like the spiked hair and everything, because maybe I would have overdone it and like come in and tried to like look like Spike or like done something like that. Um, so yeah, I was pretty new to the whole concept of Degrassi.
Wow. I actually
Mhm.
have a similar story. I watched Degrassi Junior High for the first time in health class, and I also had no connection that like this was the Degrassi, like the show that I loved. But I remember those same feelings. My 30-year-old gym teacher wheeled in the TV and said, "We're gonna watch a VHS tape of this show from the 80s about your developing bodies. And I remember at the time, I was like, I never want to watch this. This is so embarrassing.
Right?
And at the same time, my older cousin had introduced me to Degrassi in his class, and it was like, oh, this is the show, or sorry, Degrassi Next Generation. And it was like, this is the show that talks about sex and taboo topics. So when I watched it with her, I loved it. But when I watched it in health class, I was like, get this away from me.
So wait, you watched The Next Generation before you even watched the
Yes.
original, is that
Yeah.
right?
I started watching
Okay.
it in grade 4 because my older cousin was 4 years older than me. So she was a grade 8. So
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
prime TNG time.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember watching like Emma and Sean together and thinking this show is so cool, but I was too young to even like really grasp it at the time.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally. I love how you said the VHS tape because I'm certain ours was on a VHS too. It was like such a retro moment.
Yeah. And now I think it's like the coolest show in the world. But
I love
I remember the episode that I watched in health class was it's a character named Melanie gets her first bra. And I later learned that that episode was actually based on Linda getting her first bra, which I thought was a
Oh my
cool little
God.
tidbit.
Wow. Yeah, it was really interesting for me to watch the documentary actually and learn a lot more about Linda's backstory, like her
Yeah.
history with the whole show and just like it made her so much more human. Like I always had her up on this pedestal of just knowing everything that she's accomplished, but it just like there were so many ways I related to her that I didn't even know until present day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's incredible. So that's
I love her.
very cool.
I know. I remember when I was reading her memoir, reading stories of like she couldn't get her own credit card to fund Degrassi. It's insane how early that was to our current reality with women's rights, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, I did some research on you and I learned you brought a couple things to your audition. You brought a mason jar with a yarn caterpillar as a prop, a good luck teddy bear from your acting coach, Dean Armstrong, and of course, the iconic dolphin pants. How did these things help you prepare for your audition as Emma?
So yeah, at the time my acting coach was Dean Armstrong and we were working together on my scene and he had this thing, he called it Green Bear and he's like, this is like my good luck teddy bear. You've got to bring this to your audition. So it's like done. Then the mason jar is actually funny because for my very first audition, it was a monologue related to a butterfly. So I had the mason jar and like I created it out of yarn and I wanted to have like a physical prop to use. And then I went to my callback audition and somehow, unbeknownst to me, they changed the monologue. So now I was talking about like wearing a fur coat and I was prepared to do my mason jar caterpillar monologue. So I walk into the audition room, like holding my little prop, and I start launching into like my monologue about the butterfly. And they're like, hold on, you got the wrong script. And I was like, what? And I was all prepared and I had my caterpillar and I was like, oh my gosh. So they sent me out. I had to like on the spot learn the monologue about Terry, something about a fur coat. I think that one's like on YouTube somewhere.
I got so mad yesterday. This girl Terry shows up at school wearing a fur coat. Like, does she not realize that fur comes from murdered animals?
Yeah. So then I was like on the spot, had to like redo my whole audition. Yep. But you know,
Oh my God.
maybe the caterpillar was good luck because clearly things went my way.
Oh my God, you are such a trooper. I think I might have just walked out. I would have been panicking. It's so
No,
scary.
I was like, we got to keep it together. We got to keep it
Oh,
together.
good for you. I'm proud of young baby Miriam. And the dolphin pants, do you think the dolphin pants helped you land the role when you wore those?
Yeah, I think they probably did. Because again, I think it was just kind of like this commitment to my like my very young person's perspective on what it meant to be, you know, kind of more free-spirited and more of an independent thinker and all of these things. Like at that time, well, what that meant was I'm going to wear something that nobody else is wearing. And like that was my interpretation of it. And I mean, they're pretty awesome pants. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing else like them out there. So yeah, I think they probably did.
Oh, hell yeah. And they're still iconic. I mean, we're still talking about Emma's Dolphins fans. We love them. Now,
Yeah, they've got like their own name.
exactly. Once you landed the role, you had a pretty big choice to make as a kid. You had to decide between your ballet recital and CTV's media launch for Degrassi. At the time, how tough of a decision was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, that was like the highlight of my year was this dance recital. It was like we spent, I mean, number one, it was like our moment to shine. Like we felt like this is what we've worked the entire like, you know, ballet season for. And it was like the best. Like I was literally, I would get so excited. My mom would slave over making costumes. I had like 15 different costumes. She sewed them all by hand. Like it was a production.
Oh my God.
So it was it was a bit of a loss. It was like, I know now as an adult, I'm like, okay, well, the CTV launch, like that was a really big deal. But in
Yeah.
my mind, in my sphere, the biggest thing going on was my dance recital. So I mean, I think it just speaks to like my age probably because, the launch of our show was a pretty big deal too. I
Yeah.
think I made the right decision though.
I think so too. And now you're back
Yeah.
into doing ballet. What makes you love it so much?
So that was another thing, like just again, like I said before Christmas, I had watched this or read this devotional thing about not living your same year twice. And I watched this other girl on YouTube actually who really inspired me because she was someone that was a complete beginner to ballet. And she was like, you know what? This is something I've wanted to do forever. I'm going to commit to 30 days and I'm just going to do it. And I was like, that is really cool. Even though I wasn't a complete beginner, I just admired her so much. And I thought it was really cool the way she was sharing it on YouTube because that does inspire other people. Like it's not for nothing that she was sharing that because here she posted the video 4 years ago and now I'm inspired. So I thought, okay, well, you know what? Maybe there's someone else out there that also wants to get back into something. So rather than just doing it for myself, I was like, okay, I'm going to share this. And it's been
Oh,
amazing. It makes me connect with like my younger self in a way because like my personality reverts back to, I don't know, being like 10 years old in a ballet studio and just how much fun I used to have with it. So, yeah, so
yeah.
that was great. I encourage everybody to get back into your childhood passions and hobbies.
Yes, I agree. That's how I feel still being so connected to Degrassi. Like still feel like I live in the world of when I was 15 and I used to come home and watch the show and tweet about it. So and being connected to your younger self is very, very good. I like that.
I
Uh,
love that.
I'm curious, you've gotten this new show. It's coming out on CTV. It's airing every week. Did you have any, rituals back then to watch the show with your friends or family when it was coming out?
I really didn't. I'd be always like a little bit apprehensive to watch the show and because like we didn't get a preview of anything and especially
Mm.
like season 1, I'd never seen myself on camera. So it was like it was a little bit weird like for a person to go from just kind of like living a normal life to suddenly being on TV. There was like it took me probably like a couple of years to actually like get used to what that feels like. So
Mm.
honestly, I wish I could say there was some super fun ritual that I had, but there's not. Like maybe one day in, I don't know, in the next few years, I'll do some sort of a rewatch because I have not rewatched anything
Oh my
at
God.
all. So maybe I need to go back and just like sit down and watch everything through. Um, but yeah, no, I would always just be a little bit nervous. And I'm like, oh, I hope my scene turned out, or like, oh, I hope I was supposed to cry here. I hope it like came across well and all those kinds of things.
That's so fair. It can be so tough to watch yourself, especially when you're so young and you're still figuring yourself out. I can totally understand that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And one of the biggest questions that I collected fan questions for this one, and one of the biggest ones was about the fact that Emma Nelson, I mean, she really is the reason we have the next generation. Did a realization ever hit you that you're playing like this big title character that means so much to people?
Absolutely not. Not until like all these years later.
Yeah.
And even now it's kind of like feels a little bit surreal. I think I'm really happy that I didn't really understand sort of like the weight of that because it might have just kind of like altered the way I approach things because I came
Oh,
at things from a very honest, vulnerable standpoint. Like I might have almost like overcompensated if I'd have known that.
oh.
Um, but yeah, no, it is really cool, like the way they tied the whole thing together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I'm
cute.
super honored. Yeah.
I love that. I know it's very cute to go back. I know it's not you, but it's very cute to go back and watch baby Emma and Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High. And it's crazy to fathom that that girl grows up to be the lead of the next show. It's very cool to watch.
It's super crazy. I
Yeah.
know it's like again another full circle moment for sure.
I love that. And the reason you come back is because Spike is Emma's mom, who is played by Amanda Steptoe. And I know that you guys had to do a chemistry test together. Do you have any memories of either that chemistry test or just what it was like to work with Amanda?
Yeah. So, well, Amanda's amazing. For
Yeah.
starters, she's absolutely incredible. Sweetest human being in the world. Loved being on set with her. And on that screen test day, it was a little, we just met. It's not like we really had time to like go for lunch or anything like that. And yet here we are trying to depict what was at that point like a 12-year long, super tight mother-daughter bond. So it
Yeah.
was just this immediate like needing to throw off like any armor. Like in that audition scene, like I'm like crying on her shoulder. And we had literally, I had maybe, we were sitting in the audition room for like 5 minutes beforehand. And then I have to go in there and like embrace her and have tears streaming down my face and all that stuff. So there's absolutely no room to be like self-conscious or anything. So, I think we were both just like all in.
Yeah.
And we did have an immediate connection because we like the scene just like flowed very effortlessly, like our back and forth. And yeah, she made me feel so comfortable. So
Oh,
great.
I like that. And it reads on screen. You guys like very naturally feel like you grew up together if you grew up with her as your mom. So I'm
Yeah.
glad
Oh,
to
I
know that
love
that went so
that.
well in the screen test. Yeah.
That's amazing. It just made me laugh though, because I am so much taller than her. I'm like 5'7". She's like 5'0". And it even when I was young, it was like she'd be talking to her daughter, like looking up at her daughter, but hey, that's okay.
That
We
is so
suspend
true.
reality.
That's
Yeah.
true. At least I think if I remember correctly, Shane was pretty tall. So we'll say she gets it
Oh,
from Shane.
100%.
Now, even though Spike was your mom, you did spend a lot more time filming with Stefan Brogren, who played Snake, Emma's stepdad. Do you have any standout memories of working with Stefan?
Just how hilarious he is. Like
Oh,
even if we're filming like and again like some crying like heavily emotional scene, he somehow brings like humor into everything that he does.
oh,
So it was always so fun. Like probably the most fun scenes would have been like the Stefan scenes, or like there was a bunch where it was like family. So it would be Sean, Emma, Spike, and Snake. Those
mhm.
were so much fun to film because we were all just like cracking up as soon as the camera would stop rolling, and they're amazing. And of course, like
Oh,
Stefan directing, like the episodes he directed were so much fun because like it's not that we didn't take him seriously, but we had a rapport with him that we didn't have with a lot of the other directors because we'd hung out with him as a cast member. So
yeah.
that was really special. So
That's so cool.
he's
That's where
great.
that chemistry comes in. I really like that.
Yeah.
Good. Well, overwhelmingly, all of the fan questions that came in were about Emma's premiere episode with Jordan. And I'm happy to report to Degrassi fans that Miriam actually broke this episode down scene by scene with Mike LaBelle and Shane Kippel on the Degrads podcast. First, I want to know, what was it like revisiting that episode to shoot that podcast with Mike and Shane?
Again, it was very surreal because I'm going back so many years now. And
Yeah.
at the time, I felt like this mature, almost adult filming these scenes. But now when I look back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was such a young child. And the creepy factor is like exponentially higher now that I'm looking back on it as an adult, as it what like, when I was young and filming it. I guess I was maybe more in the Emma mindset where I was like, I don't know. What's the worst that could happen? And as an adult, you're like, everything terrible could happen. Like the worst things could happen. So it was very weird. And it was also so fun though to go back in time and remember like literally the vivid memories of being on set and just like I don't think my heart stopped beating the entire time we were filming that. And I felt like such an imposter too, because I was like, I'm on like this big TV show now, and like there's real cameras and there's like real everything's happening around me. And yet I was so green and new to the whole business. So I just was like the whole time I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope they don't catch on that I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh my
But
God.
again, it worked out. So
Yeah, I know. I think that innocent works because you're not trying too hard to show up as anybody. You're truly just showing up as a, 12, 13, 14-year-old on set doing
yeah,
what you're supposed to do. So I think it reads and it works
yeah.
very well.
Oh, I
I like
love
that.
that.
And a lot of fans want to know, you know, in the show, you're filming a scene, you're supposed to be a 12-year-old kid with this old man in a hotel room. What do they do, or do they do anything to make sure that you feel comfortable while filming a storyline like that?
So I don't really remember any like particular like getting pulled aside and having some sort of like a big talk. The actor that played Jordan, I mean, of course, he was not a creep in real life. He was super nice and super kind. And I'm pretty sure that at the time our parents had to be on set. So I think he was like, chat with me and my mom about how school's going and just be like a gentleman. And then again, like when the cameras start rolling, like everything is very um predetermined, of course. So
Yeah.
like I knew everything that was coming when he like, touches her neck or the backflip over the over the bed and all these kinds of things. Like it's very orchestrated.
Mm.
So as much as it looks creepy, like in the moment, you're just like, no, I'm just methodically going through the motions that have been laid out for me, and it feels very in control. But definitely feels very creepy because you're a young girl, and then here's this, at the time, he seemed like this old man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. It's like choreography, basically.
100%,
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
And that's
That
the
makes
same
sense.
as like any of like the emotional scenes, the kissing scenes, anything like that. Everyone's like, oh, like what's it like filming a romantic scene? You're like, choreography. It's
Yeah.
like trying not to like shadow the other person's face and all of those details for sure.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I recommend if you guys want to know more about that episode, Miriam and Shane might go through it on the Degrads podcast, and I highly recommend it. But another top question for this podcast was about Emma. Emma goes through so many storylines, and we'll talk about a couple highlights. But what would you say was the toughest storyline for you to film on Degrassi?
Um, I mean, I think there are two standout episodes for being very like emotionally heavy. So the school shooting, there was just this energy that permeated the entire set throughout the whole filming of that episode, and the eeriness of having the gun on set. And it was just like there was like a somber tone, like, all the joking around that I'm talking about in the other episodes, somehow that like collapsed during the whole course of that double episode.
Mm,
Um, and honestly, like Ephraim did such an incredible job of playing that character, and that must have been so insanely heavy on him. And
yeah.
then for him to go out into the world and be this like despised character, like that, he just did a phenomenal job with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was very heavy. And then, of course, the Emma eating disorder storylines that all sort of, for Emma's story, originated with the trauma she faced with the shooting, and that sort of like pushed her down a bad path. So that one also stands out as a heavy episode for sure.
Oh, of course. I'd love to talk about both of them, if that's okay. The first
Yeah.
one, the school shooting, when we had Ephraim on the podcast. First, I also want to say crazy to play the school shooter and then have to go out in real life, but then for it to later become that he shot Drake, I'm sure his whole life changed
Yeah.
publicly with that one. But when
Yeah.
I when I had him on the podcast, he talked about the intensity of being the person that has to hold the gun, but that gun
Yeah.
is pointed at your face. It's definitely a fictional scene, but it's a real gun. What was that moment like for you?
It was terrifying. Like I didn't have to act because as soon as the camera turned around and was pointed at me and Ephraim standing there like that with a literal gun at my head, um, the emotion is authentic. So it was heavy and it was scary. And it's crazy. Like when you hear about I guess it was like Alec Baldwin that had the horrendous instance on set, but it just really makes you realize how like it was dangerous. Nobody would have ever
Yeah.
made any mistakes on our set, but like it was not a light episode from
Yeah.
any perspective. Yeah, so it
Yeah.
was it was scary.
I believe it. That's one of so obviously it's one of the best episodes of Degrassi, but I think it's so heavy because it's one of the first times the school goes through such a collective grief and like every single person is impacted by it. And it was incredible to see everyone's performances going through such a heavy episode.
Yeah.
And uh, also, the Degrassi documentary, one of the biggest parts of that is you talking about your experience with Emma's eating disorder episode and how it impacted you in real life. First of all, I want to commend you for being so open and so vulnerable with your story because I think that's one of the reasons we love Degrassi is because we get to see these real, just like truthful and honest stories played out. But I walked away from the documentary with a question. You comment on your own experience with eating disorders, your sister's, Emma's, and in the documentary, it feels like all of this is kind of happening at the exact same time. Is that a true reflection of the timeline that you were going through?
No, so I'm really glad you asked that question because that would be, I mean, the documentary, I know that they were trying really hard to represent so many perspectives and so many stories, and um, they had a certain way of, needing this to play out to make their arc of a story kind of make sense.
Yeah.
But there were definitely a little bit of confusion there because my sister started having an eating disorder before I was ever cast on the show. She was about 12 when hers started, so I was 10. We're two years apart. Um, so I was well versed in her struggle before I even auditioned for the show. And then for me, my eating disorder started right around the start of season one. I think it was partly um, like a struggle to maintain a sense of control in a situation that, of course, felt a bit out of control, going from just being, a regular girl whose priority is her dance recital to suddenly being recognized and being thrust into this like very adult environment and, feeling like there was something I had to live up to, and yet I didn't quite know what that thing was.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like I looked up to my sister like so much. So, her example was like almost setting an example for me, even though I knew it wasn't a healthy example. So for me, that was kind of what started me into the cycle of my own eating disorder. And I don't really think I've spoken publicly about this fact, but in season one, close to the end of season one, Linda Schuyler pulled me aside, and I was, of course, nervous because if Linda calls you to have a one-on-one meeting, you worry.
Yeah.
And she was incredibly direct with me. And she said to me, Miriam, you look gaunt. What is going on? And I denied it, of course, as anybody that has something that they're trying to hide is going to do. Like, no, no, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sorry that I look gaunt, but everything's fine. Of course, I'm eating properly and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but I walked away from that like changed. I was like, I was gutted that like my secret was out. And I also knew like, oh my gosh, like my job is on the line. Like if I come back in season two and I haven't shown signs that I'm starting to be healthier, they're probably going to kick me off the show. So I emailed her actually after I watched the documentary and I was going down like all into nostalgia and just like
Oh,
reflecting on everything. And I was like, told her how appreciative I was of that moment because when people are struggling, people are not blunt all the time. Like we're in a culture now where everybody's got to be so careful about what you say and not to offend everybody. But the fact that she was so direct and blunt and said what maybe other people were thinking, but no one really had the courage to say to me, really had an impact on me. So I really, the gap between season one and season two, I was like, I have to get myself together and like get a handle on this. And then my sister was struggling with her eating disorder all throughout. She passed at 28, and from 12 to 28, her struggle was ongoing. And then when the Emma storyline came around in season, I guess it was season, you may know this, five or six,
season 5. Yep.
five. At that point, I would say I was like 75% kind of recovered from my eating disorder. Anybody that's been in a space like that knows that there's certain triggers that can sort of pull you back into a disordered thought process or disordered eating habits. So I would say I was 75% healed when the Emma storyline came around. And so I knew it was a very vital story to tell. I knew the weight of it. And obviously, Emma dipped a toe into having an eating disorder. And there's many people, my sister included, who struggle for decades and who ultimately, become too weak to handle it anymore.
Yeah.
So that was more an accurate storyline. And I would say it wasn't until I was about 20 that I finally like kicked once and for all any of this sort of eating disorder traits.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to say that by age 20, I had kicked it, but all throughout high school, it was like a lingering factor.
Oh my gosh, wow. I am happy to hear this because it was kind of a gut punch during the interview to imagine all of this happening at the same time and then it being like, well, we're gonna take this trauma you're going through and we're gonna put it on TV. So I'm very happy to know, well, very sad timeline, but I'm very happy to know that this wasn't as overwhelming as it maybe was portrayed. But I'm also very happy to know that Linda was such a support person for you because I love Linda Schuyler and knowing that she was like able to be so blunt with you, I think is really important and makes me really happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
was like it was tough love for sure because I felt so ashamed that like she could see that in me,
Yeah.
but it was what I needed. And sometimes
Yeah.
you need that, like you need a swift kick, right, to get your act together. And so she gave that to me.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so
that's
that
so
was
good.
great.
And then
Yeah.
do you remember, was there any type of acknowledgement? Well, Emma's now gotten the eating disorder storyline. Was there any type of check-in to see if you were okay covering that given the history you'd gone through?
And again, I don't remember that there was a check-in.
Hmm.
I remember before the Purple Dragon having a check-in if I would be comfortable doing that, to which I was like, my jaw like hit the floor when they were like, "Oh, P.S. Like, how do you feel about ripping your dress off like in a room full of extras?" And I was like secretly inside dying a little bit, but I was like, "No,
Yep.
we're doing it for the character." So that was a check-in that I remember. But you know
Mhm.
what? Again, like I think if I saw the script and if I was somehow uncomfortable, I don't doubt for a second that they would have made the changes needed. But I approached everything like as a professional, right?
Yeah.
Like so, yeah, it was a necessary story to tell for sure.
Good. Okay. I'm glad you were so open to answering that. That makes me feel, I don't know, very comforted to know what the set was like on Degrassi. So I appreciate you being
Yeah, and
vulnerable
it
about it.
wasn't exploitative. Like it's so my sister, like nobody was taking my sister's experience and exploiting it and creating like I was very like nobody knew about my home life on that show. I had a very compartmentalized sort of situation where my home life was my
Mm,
private life. And I still am to this day, like you noted, I am very private with like my real life.
yeah.
And yeah, so nobody knew about her struggles until I kind of revealed it just in recent years.
Okay. Now I'll turn the tables on me a little bit when it comes to the Degrassi documentary because I'm in it, and there's a moment where I comment on Degrassi, the college years. I talk about how, kids grow up, they say they want to watch the college years and follow the characters, but then they get a job, they go off to school, and they don't really want to watch it. So here I am in the movie theater, surrounded by the Degrassi cast. Miriam McDonald is sitting right in front of me. And on the screen, there's Emma at Smithdale and me saying, nobody wants to watch this. Miriam, how did you feel watching me say that about the college
Wait, I
years?
was okay. So first of all, I was not even offended because the fact that you made the correlation, because like I agree with you. I'm
Oh, good.
like it's nice that they wanted to extend our contracts and like keep us on the show and stuff, but I have the exact same perspective. Like Degrassi's a high school, and that's what you want to see. And when we went off to Smithdale, then like you need to start a new show called Smithdale, right? Like it's a different thing. So I get that people want to follow the characters that they've like already sort of like bonded with,
Hmm.
but not in the framework of being a high school show. Like those are two different concepts. So
I
I'm
feel
with you.
so relieved. I specifically when I came up, I was looking at you and you were nodding your head and I was like, thank God. Like this is
Yeah.
mortifying.
Oh my gosh, not even slightly.
Okay, good. I really, really like that. And
Yeah.
the college years does bring us Blaze. We get rid of blonde Emma. But first I want to know, was it your decision to not be blonde anymore?
So that was really bad timing. So I all throughout Degrassi, I was like, didn't change like my haircut, didn't change my hair color. Like I remember Cassie Steele and Shane Kipple would come back every season and they'd have like they'd bleach their hair or they'd cut it off, or they'd gotten bangs or they'd done something. And I was like, no, I need permission. Like, unless they tell me to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And then finally, in that, I guess it was season 9, season 10, I don't know what season it was. I was like, I want to try brown hair. No, I'm not going to tell my agent. No, I'm not going to get permission. I'm just going to do it. And then about a week later, I read the script where they're referencing Blonde Emma, and I was like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? I waited like a decade to dye my hair, and now you're going to script me as Blonde Emma. So then rush back to the hair salon and like have to go back to blonde all over again, but it's okay.
That's
Brown doesn't really suit me, so.
funny. So the line, I'm not even blonde Emma anymore, was because you had dyed your hair unexpectedly.
Yes, it was a rewrite. Originally, it was strictly blonde Emma, and then they added in the I'm not even that blonde anymore.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I asked with that. And what did you think about the weed storyline that she had gotten in college? I mean, it's one of her standout episodes.
Yeah, so I thought I mean, it was pretty fun to film it actually because Emma was like so loosey-goosey and like I don't know, she was like so laid back and so many of the episodes she is like on a mission of some sort. And this episode, she gets to be like low key, like easy breezy. So it was actually fun in that perspective. Those college scenes were actually fun to film, although I do agree with you that not on a high school show. But yeah, and it's funny, like that episode really does seem to be a standout. Like people, even on like Cameo or whatever, they're gonna like reference, oh, can you do like the Wanna Blaze line. It's like, okay,
Yes.
people liked it.
We do
When you're
it.
just
We
like laughing at Emma being like so out of character.
it's one of my favorites, and especially with 420 coming up, I know that "Do You Want to Blaze" gif is going to be
Oh, yeah.
absolutely everywhere. It's one of the
Yeah,
best.
we're in April now, so that's coming up in like 19 days.
Exactly, we got to celebrate. Now, of course, she has a lot of crazy storylines. She also has the Ravine storyline, but I would say the one that is most divisive is when she marries Spinner. What did you think when you found out Emma was going to marry Spinner?
I thought the writers need to get rid of us and they just want a really quick fix. Like that was like my first instinct. Then I was like, well, this is crazy. Like, how does this make any sense? And then I was like, we just have to go with it. Like,
Yeah.
just go with it. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely not have paired them together, but I mean, in the real world, crazy things happen. People
Mm,
get together for different reasons. So definitely, I've always been an Emma and Sean fan. I think
100%.
that would have been the ultimate send off, even if they had to like send Emma off to like wherever he's stationed in the army and be like, Emma's left to go and find Sean in like Afghanistan, or something like that. But what can you do?
What can you do? It sounds like maybe they got into Emma's weed brownies with that one, maybe.
Yes, I think that they did. 100% that's what happened.
What do you think about the fact that fans are like so diehard for Emma and Sean? Like they are still saying, we want a reboot, we want Emma and Sean, we want to know what they're up to. How do you feel about the fact that this couple is such a legacy outside of the show?
I think it's amazing. I think they really were like when they started out, they were the ultimate good girl, innocent, sweet girl, bad boy. Like, and then of course through the years that developed into sort of something else and something more evolved and stuff. But I think it's so cute. Like they were so young when they first met, and people love that loyalty, right?
Mm,
So I think it's amazing. I think it's um I'm so happy that people were able to like connect with that sort of like unlikely couple.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm so thankful for everyone being so supportive.
Oh, I love that. I know we're big Sean and Emma fans. Do you think Emma and Spinner are still together?
No, I don't think they're still together. I think they had like a couple good years where they were just like, you know, trying things out and feeling free and trying to make it work. And then I think reality hit maybe like 3 years in, and they were like, we're two completely different people. And they split amicably. That's my take.
I agree because they do come back in Degrassi Next Class. It is canon that they're still together in the Throwback Thursday episode, but they don't appear together. And my fan theory is that at that period of time, they're pretending they're still together. Like it seems
Okay.
very Emma to not want to be like, oh, I've screwed up. So I think
Yeah.
they're pretending, and then now I think they're totally done. I
Yeah,
can't
I
imagine
think you're
them.
exactly right. They were just keeping up appearances. They were probably posting pictures on Instagram, pretending they're a happy couple. And then, like 2 years in, they're like, we're not even going to pretend anymore.
100%. That's what I think. I
Love
think
it.
Spinner, there's a guest room with his video game consoles in it. They pretend it's a guest room. He actually just
Yeah,
stays there. That's what I think is happening.
100%. Oh my gosh, you nailed it.
I've written some fan fiction in my day. Yeah. Now, not only was the wedding itself a controversy, but there was controversy with fans because of the lore we got here. Spinner has a younger sister named Kendra who was not at the wedding. Emma has a younger brother named Jack who was not appearing at the wedding. But I'm curious to know, what do you think Jack and Emma's relationship would actually be like as siblings?
I forgot about Jack because he was so like phased out. You're so right. Why wasn't he at the wedding? He would have been like
Yeah,
3 or 4. He would have
yeah,
been like a cute little toddler. He should have been the ring bearer. Like, where
he
was
should have
he?
been. He just disappeared.
What the
I know.
heck?
I
Have
love
you
that
written
now
any
you're
fan
cluing
fiction
in.
on Jack? Like, we have to find Jack. Where is he? What have they
Where
done with
is
him?
Jack?
Is he okay?
There was a couple years whenever he would have been about like 15, people were like trying to get a reboot to come back with him as the star, which I would have loved. But now he would be 22 years old, which is crazy.
Ooh.
How much time has
So
gone
now we have
by?
to do Jack the college years, Jack at Smithdale.
Yes, Jack
Or
on
maybe
Weed
not even. He's
Brownies.
like graduated.
He's like gone.
Yeah, Jack gets his master's.
I love it. Oh, speaking of, I mean, there is no official reboot right now, but every year there's a reboot rumor. There'll be one this year, there will be one next year. I'm curious if Degrassi called you and said, we'd like you to come back, what would you say, and what's the kind of capacity you would feel comfortable returning to Degrassi at?
So I think I would say, let me think about it and
Hmm.
let me have control over like certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was young in the acting business, which I've now fully left, um, you're just like a little pawn. And I really didn't feel that in many ways I didn't have a voice. You're just kind of you're saying someone else's words, you're wearing someone else's clothes, you're reading someone else's script. Like, and now at this point in my life, I'd be like, this could be a really cool thing, but like, let me have some say over the direction of the character. Like, let me, um, like have a little creative control over the situation, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, how are they going to bring it back? Are there any other babies that they could bring back now that we've established that Jack is clearly too old?
I there has been thoughts either about so JT and Liberty had a baby that was adopted. So there has been
Yeah,
some rumors about bringing her back, or there's some fan
yeah,
theories that maybe Spinner and Emma did have a baby.
oh,
But my fan theory is actually that they adopted because Spinner has testicular cancer. So this is my
yeah.
theory, and then that keeps it through Spike as the legacy. There's lots of fan theories. We can bring it back.
Oh, that's a good one. They adopted a baby. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that.
Which I think would be fun because it would be the continuation, but not necessarily through the bloodline, but still a very important topic that about
Yeah.
adopted kids, which
Okay.
I would like.
I like
Well,
that.
either way, if Degrassi calls, please at least just do a cameo, just for us, at least one episode,
I
please.
will.
Okay,
Just
thank
a
you.
cameo. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Now,
Anytime.
before we wrap up, I'm going to run into some fan questions that we have. My best friend, Lizzie, I had to get a question in from Lizzie. She wanted to know if the Degrassi set was still standing today, exactly as you left it. Everything's inside of it, all the people are still there. What is the very first thing you would do when you arrived to the set?
Oh my gosh.
Nostalgic.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would probably go upstairs to our dressing rooms to see who else was on set. If there was anybody on set, but that was like my go-to. Like you arrive and you just go like beeline it upstairs to where our dressing rooms were. I go down to craft services and I check out what kind of like fun snacks and everything they have around. Oh my gosh, I probably go to like that Emma's house set and like go see Emma's bedroom and go see like, the living room. I go into the back lot. The back lot, like, you've been there, like you know
Yeah.
how cool that is, right? Like, oh my gosh. So many memories. Like I would be transported. I would feel like I'm 14 years old again. No
Oh,
doubt. And so what's the deal? Is it fully gone now?
it
Is
is
it
fully gone. So all like this the structure of the building itself is there. So like the steps and like the paneling are still there. But once you get in, it is fully demolished. Even like the internal courtyard there, JT's Memorial Garden, totally
Yeah.
plowed down and gone. And it is just filled with trucks through the whole thing. The whole thing is gone. All the office is gone, everything. I
That's
know.
insane. That seems like such a waste.
I agree. I agree. I could go
Like
on
you
for
could
another
put trucks
hour.
anywhere. You could put trucks literally in like an empty parking
Literally
lot.
anywhere. And it's like such a perfect place for filming. You already had everything. There's so many shows are always produced in Toronto, but I could rant
Darn
forever
it.
about it. Yeah,
What
darn
were they
it.
thinking?
But
Those weed brownies got to them again.
Miriam, that was so good. I love that. In my brain, it's still intact, and I don't accept the current reality, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
and see, I haven't been there to see it unintact. So in my brain, it's very much
Oh,
intact.
oh, you're lucky. I wish I didn't see it, but it's cool. It's
Oh,
cool to go visit it still. Now, some more fan questions that we had. Oh, also shout out to Lizzie. Lizzie helped me with this episode, so I want to say a huge shout out to
yes.
Lizzie. And she's very
Yes,
excited
shout
about
out
her
to
autograph.
Lizzie. And I know that I had sent her a cameo and she has a special place in our heart. We know that. Yeah.
Yes, she is and she is like the real life Emma Nelson to me. She like connects to her
That's
so much. So
incredible.
it's so cool. I love it. I love
I love
Lizzie.
that.
Laura wants to know, is there anything you wish had been explored more with Emma? Wow. Well, Miriam, overall, how much does it mean to you that you played Emma on Degrassi and that people still care so much about her story?
It is honestly incredible. It is so humbling. And I feel so blessed that something that was, I guess it was about a decade of my life, still matters to people in the present day. I'm so thankful for the support. I'm so thankful for the people that reach out to me and say that something about a storyline or something that I, portrayed as Emma helped them through a real life situation that they were going through. I'm so thankful to the people like you who are still making our show relevant today. We stopped filming so many years ago, and yet here we are still talking about it. And that means the world to me. So
Oh,
thank you so
you're
much.
so welcome. And we're so happy and so lucky that you share your time with us. And before we hit the road, I want you to give me one more pitch. Where can people find the Presents for Paws Instagram? Give me another little recap of this event and what people can do to support.
Yes, so Presence for Paws has its own Instagram account at Presence for Paws. We have a website as well, presenceforpaws.com, and we have an Eventbrite. That's where you're going to purchase your tickets. So if you go on Eventbrite and search Presence for Paws or check the link in my Instagram bio or the Presence for Paws Instagram bio, you can get your tickets there. And we're so excited, June 14th.
Yay! I can't wait to see how it goes. I'm pretty confident I'm coming. I'm just working out my
Oh my
travel
gosh,
plans because I'm supposed to go to
that's incredible.
I'm usually go to Toronto in the summer anyway. I usually go June or July. So I'm kind of if I can make my schedule line up, I'll hopefully get to see you and get to see some puppies. I want to see the puppies.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I would love that. That would be such an honor to have you there. And yes, the adoptable dogs, they all need hugs and kisses and cuddles, and that's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I am working on it. And Miriam, thank you so much for doing this. Like, I am such a huge fan of Degrassi. I used to daydream about what it would be like to meet you someday. And the fact that you just gave me an hour of your time to tell me every Degrassi fact I've ever wanted to know, this truly means so much to me. And I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being such a supporter of the show. Thank you for being such a genuinely, like you seem like such a kind person where I like want to open up to you because you have this energy about you. And thank you for everything you've done for our show and for the fans. So
You are so
thank
welcome. Well, next for me, I'm going to get my Presents for Pause tickets and I'm going to start promoting our autographs. So if you haven't gotten one yet, go check it out. All the information in the bio. You can get puppies, you can get autographs, you can get stickers, you can get whatever you like. Help support Miriam and her cause. Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Have a great day.
you so much. Okay. Have
Bye.
an amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Miriam McDonald for coming on the Degrassi Kid podcast. This is insane. I have no words for it. Truly, all I can say is thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to be a part of Presents for Paws in such a small way, and I just can't wait to see how it goes. I also have to say a huge thank you to Lizzie, who is our podcast producer. Lizzie is such a huge Emma fan, so I was so excited when she threw her support towards this episode and asked such a great question. And to everyone on Patreon who left their questions and helped shape such an impactful episode, thank you so, so much. I also have to say a huge thank you to all of our brand new Patreon subscribers. Those are all of our gifted subs who have joined, and Ashley Furtago, Kevin Garcia, Sam, Magdalene Hahn, Mystic Seer 13, Esme, Levi, Sheehan, Abby Jo Garrity, Tegan Jalen, Amanda, Rob Sanderson, Adriana, and Tess. Thank you so much for joining, especially those of you who joined to get a Miriam autograph. As I record this, there are only 10 autographs left, and Miriam signed 100. So this is insane. Hopefully by the time this goes public, there's still some left for you to get. But for now, thank you to everyone who got one. And of course, our return subscribers who make all of this possible. First, our Degrassi Kid producer team, which is Jolene, Kate, Abby, McCarl91, Amelia, and Goober Girl. Thank you so, so much for being producers. And all of our repeat subscribers who make this podcast possible. That is Sarah J, Rachel, Degrassi CSI, Amber, Shannon, Emily, Angie, Taylor, Christopher, Angelica, Laura, Sarah, Legna, Timmy, Holly, Emma, Sammy, Dave, Brittany, Glenn, Degrassi Next Generation's Facebook group. I recommend you join. Kylea, Stephanie, Becca, Gina, Racine, Megan, Courtney, Mina, Kristen, Lindsay, Sam, Jupiter, Casey, Katrina, Nikki, Cosmo, Amber, Tawny, Laura, Lewis, Jeanette, Anna, Blue, B, Cian, Natalie, Max, Tom, Pebble, Julia, Jill, Jen, Brittany, Carrie, Patrick, Beck, Anna, Kat, Jess, Nikki, Jessica. Ooh, lots of Jesses and Nikkis. Danny, Ashley, Brittany, Randy, Darcy, Kennedy, Kate, Amber, Jill, Rogan, Marina, Mimi, Lara, Chrissy, Mix, Lucy, Lizzie Games, Ashley, Sanita, Emily, Mike, Sarah, Tierney, Amber, Kylie, Jennifer, Felicia, Wild Wallflowers, Trevor, Sinner, Lindsay, Will, Sarah, Vi, Dre, Isabella, Ariel, Madison, Joe, David, Sam, Core, Carmen, Heather, Kira, Brittany, Liz, Scott, Joe, Alexandra, Sue Ellen, Caitlin, Brian, Holly, Connor, Sawyer, Jackie, The Fresh Nostalgia, Crystal, and Carson. Thank you so much for being members of the Degrassi Kid Patreon. I can't wait to see you next week for a brand new episode of the Degrassi Kid Podcast.